So give me 1 second. I'm starting up the stream, unmuting, and moving to that and switching scenes. There we go. We're all set.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Penis.
Hella dope.
Butthole.
Why would you do this? He loves ruining the stream.
Doing the trend from last time, I see.
What?
I
It's
said continuing the trend from last time.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and
I've learned nothing.
that's fine. I don't care about that.
What's up?
You're actually violating our third place policy, sir. We're gonna have to ask you to leave.
No, if he curses online, I don't care.
Yeah, so for the chat, I almost got kicked out of a Starbucks in one of our players' hometown because I was at the Starbucks with them, and I mentioned that I used to work in a restaurant, and after doing so for several years, now that I've actually started like a real career with an actual end game, unless I am financially destitute and my only options are either work at a restaurant or work the corner, I would rather, and I'm quoting myself here, lick the piss off of Satan's big red cock.
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, at the Starbucks that I have in the past worked at for like a shift or two, like picking up shifts as an employee of the Siren TM, and I knew the guy he was talking to, and you're not allowed to talk like that in the Starbucks. They'll get mad.
You didn't like him anyway.
No, he kind of sucks.
Which guy?
Well, I'm not gonna say his name. We're on stream. He could
Wait,
be
Yeah.
the guy at the Starbucks that you went to that they fucked up my drink?
Yeah.
Well, that guy sucks. Yeah, he fucked
Yeah,
up my
he
drink.
also fucked up your drink. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. He fucked up my drink.
Yeah, anybody who fucks up a drink
Was
is
that
mean.
when y'all were taking Luke to the airport?
No.
I mean, that was Monday, but it was earlier than that. Daniel and Luke went out for a few minutes to get me coffee,
Well,
and they brought me back disgusting swill. I wasn't even coffee. It was supposed to be a chai latte, and they fucked it up.
you didn't even ask for anything. I brought that to you because I'm nice.
Yeah, he wasn't even gonna get you anything. I was
Yeah,
like,
you brought it to
hey,
me with
should we
Lucas.
get...
You suck.
I do. Eat fuck, fuck eater.
Well, he paid for it, so he didn't suck that much.
No, just a little bit.
Just enough.
Apparently.
Anyway. But yeah. So.
Yeah.
What do you call it? But yeah. So, when last most of us left off, they have been getting to know some of the local color around town. They had run into a shady medicinal merchant promising miracle elixirs to cure all that ails you. They noticed the sheriff who had come in to congratulate you all on your victory and brought with him a mysterious new prisoner who several of our party members were curious to meet. And a few others, the local medicine man in town, the local doc. But before all that, we have one player who got up to a little something else the night before. Our player, Kazron.
Yes.
Following when following when we left off, took a stop, not wanting to go back to the more sort of homey hustle and bustle of the Starlight Saloon, the main watering hole in town. Went in search of somewhere open at the late hour that could get a drink and a place to sit and brood for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not really being too familiar with the area, as this is honestly your first day still. You found yourself in the only other local watering hole open, Aldi's place. A local brothel and honestly theater. You know, they have like the typical like dancing showgirls on stage, maybe an act or two, but the main event is obviously to recruit some pleasurable company for the evening, as Captain Barbosa would famously say. I'd like you, if you could, to give me a picture of just what is his vibe upon going in? Is he hitting the front row of the stage? Is he finding like is he there for the show, or is he more just like, look, I'm going off to just I'm here for the cheap drinks and or I'm here for the overpriced liquor and you can all sort of figure yourselves out from there.
There because another shady character ain't gonna be anything in a place like this.
Okay, but I'm saying, are you like actually are you actually front row and center to watch the
No,
show? Are you
no.
middle? Are you like middle of the room where
Middle of the room,
dancers, where like
but
the dancers might actually be incentivized to come and talk to you, or are you just like I'm picking out a quiet booth in the back where I'm just gonna nurse my drink?
not quite the middle, but not quite the back. Somewhere, probably
in
a
the
booth
outskirts.
somewhere in the outskirts where might get noticed, might not, but chances are I blend in with the scenery.
Fair enough. Settle down. You had a couple things to think about. Most notably, you had spent not every credit you had, but a significant amount to basically hop the nearest freighter headed off-world and disappear to the most backwater piece of crap in the Outer Rim that still had even a semblance of civilization to it in order to escape that event with the Empire. And you got here only to find out last night that the Empire was waiting for you. Maybe not by name, but that an Imperial outpost has recently been set up. And while the Empire's power hasn't quite solidified here, this is very much still a place in the chaos of being by the various factions that have already taken root here. They are very interested in sinking their teeth in. So where is he at? You know, where's Kazron on that mentally processing all that? Because you could jump world again, but it's not going to be easy.
Thinking a couple of overpriced drinks may help clear his mind, because right now he's already having to deal with bullshit from, people kidnapping people and, bunch of good people in town. Like,
So you're saying
way to make money. Yeah.
So you're sitting there watching the show. There are some musicians off to the side pumping out some like nice jizzy tunes throughout the room. You know, everyone loves some good jizz, some nice, hot upbeat jizz pumping into your ears. You can try and erase it all you want, Mickey. We know what it's called. Kayla, for the record, you know the I don't know if you know, but for any players who do not, the thing from Star Wars is called jizz music.
Okay.
So that's delightful, and I will take any opportunity to point it out because Disney really hates it.
I'm sure they do.
You see a few of the girls. This is honestly the most. I mean, you talked about a shady character sort of fitting in well here. If anything, you are like you stand out a little bit because you're the most normal person in here.
Okay.
I mean,
this
is in the sense that it's a very like cosmopolitan environment. I mean, houses of ill repute like this tend to attract the sort of attractions. You see a few Twi'lek women on stage, practicing their arts. You see LD, the owner of the place herself, is a large Deveronian woman. Think like a very large, muscular, red-skinned, giant horns. What we would think of as your typical biblical devil, but with no wings. Who stands about 6'9", which is like considered rather average height for a Deveronian, or a Deveronian woman. Like, you know, so you just a guy in black robes, not really like raising a lot of alarms.
Good.
It does strike you into your sort of bounty hunter's instincts that like also a stage full of like musicians and scantily clad women. If there were ever a place where you could go about business and definitely not have any eyes on you, this would probably be it.
Basically thinking this is going to become my home office.
Looking across the stage, right?
Yes.
Like it's a stage in like the middle of the room, so everyone's sort of looking inward.
Mhm.
Just for a second, you see a set of eyes that are actually looking directly at you.
Hey, Sonic.
As you see a pair of like dark bluish purple eyes from across the room just locked on yours, and then very quickly they avert and the person vanishes into the crowd.
That bothers me quite a bit.
What do you want to do about it?
I had really wanted to get wasted, but I guess I'm gonna have to go look for this fucker.
Oh, this is like after you've already had a drink or two. Like you're
Oh.
not shit faced, but you've been there for like.
I've
been there
nursed
for
a
some
couple
time
of
now.
drinks.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go ahead and chase after this.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check.
I don't like when people stare at me.
Great. You're like scanning through the crowd. Like you go over to that side of the room. You're like kind of doing your best to move around and not make it look like you're searching for somebody.
Yeah.
You feel someone like knock into your shoulder. Yeah, you feel someone knock into your shoulder. As a drink is like spilled onto your side, you have like that like reflexive, like kind of
Yeah.
jerks away for a sec. Like goes on guard for just a minute.
Yeah.
And when you sort of calm down, like you're looking around, you see no one around you, but there is a very familiar weight that you're used to hanging from your belt that is not there.
Son of a bitch.
Your lightsaber is gone.
Now I'm pissed.
Roll me a notice check right now.
What is notice check?
Give me above a... Yeah, no, that'll definitely do it. I was going to say 1. You look, you see the silver of the hilt being, like, passed into a back pocket or, like, tucked inside someone's robe. And you see a head of purple hair flash as they run out the back door into the alley outside.
I give chase.
Great. You burst out. It is freezing cold. You know, however hot it was during the day, the weather has completely shifted as you're like looking around. And I'm gonna need from you. Let's just pull this up real quick. Would you like to tell me as you see this person? I'll say you get out there just enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You see like a fire escape type of thing. It's like a ladder leading up onto the roof of one of the neighboring buildings.
Yeah.
You see them almost at the top, just absolutely boom, 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 bounding up the rungs. What do you want to do?
I've got a question.
Yes.
Can I kind of parkour up there?
So like a Mario jump, like run up a building, jump to the neighboring building.
Type thing, yeah. Kind of almost like almost leap between the buildings to get higher and higher faster. Like
It's gonna be athletics, and the roll is gonna be. I'll say it's gonna be a 3 with your athletics. With
mhm.
force, it'll be a 2.
Force control or force.
I believe that is force control because you are altering your own physiology.
All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and use force.
Roll me a 2.
I'm feeling anger, so Fuck.
Okay, do you want to succeed
Yes, I do.
at a major cost?
Yes.
Great. As you you kick off one of the walls, like you said, you are feeling that old familiar itch. You've tapped into the force before without fully going into that well.
Mm-hmm.
This is something else. Someone stole an extension of yourself. You push off, and you hear a crack behind you as the concrete of the wall actually dents and cracks with like an imprint of where your feet leave it.
Mm-hmm.
As you fire up onto the roof to give chase to them, but you hear a commotion as people inside are like, "What the fuck was that?" Because it sounds like someone hit the wall with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, I had a feeling. That I was gonna love that, but wasn't thinking. Just trying to get my shit back.
You are on a roof at the moment. They are running across the rooftop. They're gonna make an athletics to try and outrun you. It is up to you if you'd like to oppose that or if there's something else you want to do.
I would love. I'm already using the force, so I want to try to oppose that with just like yanking them backwards towards me.
Okay, so I'm gonna do your force alter versus their straight athletics.
Okay.
Great. You yank, you do grab a hold of them. Oh, unless you want to use an aspect.
What would be an aspect?
You could say you were a bounty hunter who's gotten into a lot of
That I've done this before. That I've used it to grab him.
You could say you're a trained acolyte of the Sith. There's a lot of things you can do with it if you so choose. But it is late enough in the day. You will be starting. I'm counting this as this session's fate point pool.
Fair enough. I have used this before in trying to catch one of my bounties.
Okay. So, would you like to add a 2 and succeed at a minor cost, or just re-roll and just literally roll the dice?
I'm gonna go ahead and roll the dice on this one. I've already taken a major cost.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
So, with the re-roll, let's see. Yeah, with the re-roll, you do not catch them. I'll say you grab a hold of them, and you actually see the second as their feet kind of leave the ground, and they start going back towards you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the air, almost as if they were expecting you to do that, you see the figure tuck into a ball, hit the ground where they'd normally be dragged on their back towards you, and just roll with the momentum, blow past you, and start running in the opposite direction along one of the rooftops.
Okay.
This is not a random, sneak thief who pickpocketed you. This is someone who knows what they are doing.
Yeah, apparently. I don't like them already.
As they run past you, they are actually going to attempt to use the momentum to sweep your legs out from under you.
Okay. I'm
Please
fucked.
roll an opposed fight check.
Nope. Oh. Wow. Okay. That could have been hours.
No, you succeed in blocking them. So they go to sweep your legs out from under you as you either like intercept it with a hand or
Yeah.
like jump over their feet. They don't make any visible or audible sign of acknowledgement of that. They do also have like a large hood up obscuring their head as they turn around and begin running again. But there is a beat of they've acknowledged what you've done. You just can't get a read without an empathy roll on what they feel about it.
Don't really care what they feel. I just want my shit back.
Sure. What are you doing? They're
I'm-
still running. They're still running away, but the move is yours.
I'm going to chase after them again, and try to catch up with them.
Great. They are going to be running along one of the opposite rooftops. Give me an athletics check if you want. If you want to either throw something at them or pull out a gun if you think you would have one, you can use shoot. What do you do? I mean, you tell me how you do this. Even if you want to try and intimidate them into stopping, that's also an option.
Trying to think, but nothing happens. Anyway, just straight catching them is not going to work because that apparently hasn't. So I don't think I would have a weapon on me. That was my weapon. So I have my force and I have my general skills. So I'm going to try to use the force again.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to leap towards them. Get a run and leap.
So you are trying to create an advantage.
Yes.
All right. Let's see here.
I don't know what would be on the rooftop that I could leap off of.
Do you want to try and declare an environmental aspect?
I would like to. If there's something
Great.
that I
what about this rooftop would be there that you think? Oh, this is
a vent or something sticking up out of the roof. I could run and leap off of that.
I'm not gonna make you use a fate point for that. That's unless there's something like specific of like, there's a water tower and I want to topple that kind of a thing.
No, I was just looking for a leg up. Quite literally.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking to. Let's see.
Trying to get ahead of them. It's basically what I'm trying to do. I don't know how far they got ahead of me. So.
I'm gonna have you roll against their athletics check because that's the distance you're trying to cover.
Yes. And I take it control again.
Yes. They're gonna use one of their aspects to reroll.
Okay.
Or you know what? I'm gonna say they're not gonna reroll. They're just gonna add. No, they can't do that. Yeah. They are gonna reroll.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. Great. I'm gonna say so. You haven't caught them with that, but you are now like running almost neck and neck. Once again, looking at their stride, this is someone who knows exactly what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to very abruptly, as they're running next to you, it's like a thing of like, I'm almost with them. Like, I got you now. Like, this is like, I'm
so close.
Like, I'm ready for. They suddenly, as you see the gap in the buildings coming up again, they leap across, turn around, and they're going to make a shoot roll to throw something at you.
Okay.
Roll me defend.
Defend would be where?
Oh, no, that would be defend. Oh, sorry. My bad. That is actually roll me whatever skill you wish to use to defend against this. There is an object that is flying at you very fast.
To dodge it. I guess the dodge out of the way would be what?
Athletics.
Athletics.
Great. Unless you want to use another fate point, that's gonna hit you.
I would like to use a fate point.
Great. So, what aspect of this are you using to defend this action?
You know, I'm gonna let it hit me. I'd rather
Great.
save the fate point.
Great. As you're running, this thing flies at you, and you feel yourself wrenched to a halt as you look down and you see your large, billowing robe is now pinned to basically like the little protruding staircase thing that is. It's where the stairs lead downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
As you hear a faint of a vibroblade dagger that is pinning you to the wall. As you look across the gap, silhouetted by the moon, you see the hood has fallen off. You can't make out the face, but you do see that from the form, this is a female figure. So it's a woman, a woman staring you down. You make out a strange kind of gait they're holding themselves with, as you see them reach into their back pocket, pull out something cylindrical that you recognize as yours. They drop it onto the ground, give you what looks like some sort of salute, and they step off the edge of the roof and vanish into the night.
Seriously, they just drop my shit and run?
I'm assuming a second later you yank the knife out of the wall and go to check.
Yes. Yes. Most definitely. Yeah. As soon as the coast is clear, I kind of am like, fuck.
No
but
sign of them. Like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I also pocket the microwave, obviously.
Of course.
Yes.
I will let you know one thing.
Yes.
Those are expensive.
Yeah.
Not anyone just has a vibroblade dagger.
Oh, was sure of that.
And this one appears well made.
Alright, so let me just write that down. Now I have
Also,
that.
the kind of people who have vibroblade daggers aren't the kind of people who use them as throwing knives. Unless they know they've got a lot more where that one came from.
Okay.
You get to the other roof, and you see your lightsaber sitting on the ground, completely, I mean, from what you can tell, untampered with. It's basically impossible to tamper with a lightsaber unless you're either incredibly mechanically inclined or have the Force. But you
I look around.
Yeah, Kayla, what was that?
Hello?
Hello?
I think
All right, then.
I
So,
think she said
Gloria-
me, but
Yeah, exactly. That's right. It was pitter patter the whole time.
No, so I pick it up. I look around. I'm assuming I'm still on the rooftop.
You are still on the rooftop. You can see some lights coming on as the commotion of everything has attracted. It's
I've
attracted
woken people
like,
up.
You've woken people up, and people are like coming into the street with flashlights, like looking around for like, what the fuck was that?
Is
Like,
there a
there's no
place that I can go to that it will be secluded for a moment?
Just for like a brief moment.
Yeah, I want to turn my lightsaber on and make sure that it's still functioning.
I will say you can like hunker down into a corner or like break the lock off of a storage closet long enough to do that.
Okay.
If you want to hide for like a prolonged length of time.
No, just
use the
literally long enough to turn on my lightsaber, make sure it's still functioning, and then I will roll a stealth roll to escape these crowds. But
sure enough, you click it on. There is a familiar burning sensation in your stomach as something deep within you wants to immediately just like, why am I hiding from these people? What kind of a threat could they possibly pose to me? With this in my hand, I could wipe out this entire pissant town and never look back.
oh yes,
This is beneath me to be here.
yes.
Like a wild beast, you wrestle that into its cage and kind of repeat the Sith mantra to yourself, kind of center yourself. But there is a familiar 3 or 4 foot long crimson blade elegantly hanging in the air in front of you. Your lightsaber appears to be in full working order with one exception. You see there is a piece of paper that has been folded up and tucked into one of the vents or crevices, just the gaps in the metal on your lightsaber.
Hold on one second. What was that last part?
There is a piece of paper that has been folded up, and in one of the gaps in the grip or the rubber or some space where something could be tucked, someone has shoved this piece of paper into that space.
I pull out the piece of paper.
Great.
And securely attach my lightsaber back to my belt.
The piece of paper has a note. It says as follows. It says, your reputation is as expected. It's good to know that it's good to know that my instincts have not failed me. We'll be seeing each other again soon, my lord.
Ooh. Not character, player, chills.
Yeah.
Chills. Character.
This is the exact thing you didn't want.
Yeah, pretty much. Fuck. Alright.
It's good to know my instincts didn't fail me. We'll be seeing each other again very soon, my lord.
Yeah, I pocket that paper to dispose of later. And now I want to stealthily sneak off and make it look like I wasn't involved in this at all.
Great. I'm going to say it's not hard for you just to drop from the roof, force cushion your landing so you land silently. The dramatic pulls hood up over the head, turns around. You are one of 1,000 other nameless, confused people milling around in the street. Now, I hope you don't mind a bit of narrative hand-waving wibbly-wobbliness here
Go for it.
to explain your absence.
Yes.
I'm going to say the reason you are not with the other party members in the morning and didn't go on that adventure is because you are freaked the fuck out and decided to lay low for the day.
Oh, yes. I kind of went back to that bar and found the deepest, darkest corner.
You've just gone to ground.
I have just disappeared and...
You found a hooker and asked, are there rooms for rent here? Slapped down a bunch of credits and then basically told her there's 30 credits for 30 credits for a room for the night, and then 100 credits for you to pretend, or 100 credits for you to take the night off and never tell anyone I was here.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That sounds exactly like right there.
Yeah.
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 Go.
This is, as far as anyone's concerned, as far as anyone on this planet's concerned, you picked up a random stranger and spent the night. As far as you're concerned, you're not.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm concerned.
This is, you are posted up with a death grip on your lightsaber.
Oh yes, that thing doesn't leave my sight now.
It's, your attention is alternating pretty much between the lightsaber and the dagger and the note.
Yes.
Just trying to figure out how do all these pieces fit together.
And why now?
And also, the fact that you managed to block that person's attack when they tried to trip you isn't what concerns you. It's the fact that you almost didn't.
Yes.
And it's not the fact that they almost hit you with the dagger that's concerning. It's the fact that you know with 100% certainty if they'd been aiming for you, you would be dead right now.
Oh yes, 100%. That there was no doubt in my mind.
So, we zoom back through. We catch up with Cole Monteras and Darindura as they've talked their way into the sheriff's station to interrogate this prisoner that was brought in by the sheriff earlier today. Is one of the natives of the planet. They normally steer pretty clear of the town for all of the reasons that you think they would in a game set in a facsimile of the American Wild West. But this one has journeyed a bit inward, and not only that, was caught sneaking around the yard of the governor's mansion on the outskirts of town late last night. And you are currently, you've talked your way in, and you're standing in front of their cell. You remember that in the bar, they were, through the box they were being transported in, locked their attention on you. Whoever this person is, whatever this person is in terms of like their affiliations or goals, something about you is deeply interesting to them. He sits tall-ish, but not. They would be considered tall for a human, but not inhumanly tall. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like 6'8".
Not even. I'm talking like 6'3".
That's pretty average for a human. It's a little above average, but
yeah, if you saw them as a regular human, you'd go, "That's a tall guy," but not like, "Holy fuck, is that a NBA All-Star Shaquille O'Neal?"
Right.
Sat cross-legged on the floor, grayish skin, has kind of a strange flat texture to it. No body hair that you can see, but out of its skin, almost like a carapace, are growing shards of clear whitish crystal that start white at the base where it meets his skin and face and turn clear, almost like quartz, as they jut up and outward. As he looks up at you, black irises, completely like a deep well of black, with a tiny pinprick in the center of a blue so piercing that even if it's not glowing, but it's such a piercing blue that you would swear it was.
Okay. So he's looking up at me? Or the both of us?
Yeah. He's looking up at you and just sort of considering what this is. Like, it's not a, like, you know what? Roll me empathy to try and get a bead on, if you care, to try and get a bead on what's the vibe walking into this situation.
I got 2.
I got 2. It does not seem like he was expecting you to be here, but he is not shocked by that. Again, not even like, oh, I thought you might come here. It's like, it was only a matter of time until someone came to visit. I'm ready for what this interaction brings.
So, okay.
But his face, in terms of his like overall, beyond his general posture, his actual facial expression, unreadable.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, I'm just gonna ask him. Did you have something to say? Saw you eyeing me earlier.
He looks up at you and he says, he looks between you and then he looks at Daniel and he closes his eyes and takes an especially deep breath. And when he lets it out, he says that if it pleases the, oh, hang on, I'm hearing many buzzes in the in the
Ignore that.
No,
It's-
I know. I'm looking at them so it stops notifying me. He says that if it pleases the great fire, I will attune to the resonance of calm. I had
Do
not
I know what the Great Fire is?
not a fucking clue.
Wow.
Yeah, that was real cryptic and weird.
Not- You've heard a lot of cryptic, weird shit. Not with that one right over your head. I'm just telling you right now.
It must be a local religion.
And he says that he will attune to the rhythm of calm. And he says that if it also pleases the Great Fire, he will shift his resonance towards Inquisition.
Okay.
And he says that he did not know that there were those who were bearers of a great spark.
Yeah, like a transformer.
Oh, he specifically, he says bearers of a spark, not the great spark.
Right, yeah, just a spark, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, I tell him, I ask him, do you possess the spark as well?
Great, he looks to the side. Great, you know what? No, he looks at you. And he's going to make an empathy roll on you to try and see if you know what that means.
I can.
If you are taking, tell me genuinely, what do you assume, and how sure are you of that, or are you just parroting what he says back to him to hope to get a response?
I'm pretty sure by a spark he means force sensitive.
Okay.
That's the one thing that me and Shar have in common.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and like the fact that he could see me across the from outside, and like we had some kind of mental connection. Like I'm assuming he's referring to our force sensitivity, and I'm wondering if he also has it.
Okay. So you're pretty solid in what you assume it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Then just roll me an empathy.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'll set the D. I was gonna say I'll set the DC at like 1.
Okay.
Because if that seems fair to you, in terms of like you're not trying to hide this at all. This is a very surface level thing. Any difficulty comes from a translation issue.
Right. Okay.
So he is gonna go for this. Great. He is gonna look to the side, and he says that if it pleases the Great Fire, I reattune my resonance to the resonance of shame. No, And he says, "No, I am not yet a bearer of the spark."
And there is no shame in that.
As he says that, and he says that his spark faded, but he hopes soon to reclaim it.
Okay. Either I don't know. Either. So I kind of look at Shar and kind of, as an aside, say either there's much in the Force I don't yet understand, or he's not talking about that.
Either there is much in the Force I do not yet understand, or there's been a miscommunication and we're talking about something else.
Right.
It would not be the first time that I had a whole ass conversation with somebody about the Force, only to find out that I just owed them money for pod racing bet.
Oh, most likely. There's probably been times where I've been talking to somebody and I thought we were talking about something, and they were talking
And
about.
I drastically misread that conversation.
Yeah, that was awkward.
But if you think about it, all things are one in the Force, and therefore, from a certain point of view, my tab at this restaurant has already been paid.
I've been around a while, and I've never heard anyone refer to the Force this way, so...
Well, these people... This individual seems to be vastly disconnected from the rest of the galaxy. So perhaps there are other cultures in the galaxy that refer to the Force in different contexts, but I don't know. I had a connection with him earlier. There's something there. So, what were you doing around the governor's mansion?
Great. He grips like his hands a little bit tighter, and he takes a deep breath, and he says that if it pleases the Great Fire, I would attune my resonance to that of anger, and then shift my resonance to that of urgency. He says that the man I was seeking is a bearer of a false spark.
Have they done you and your kind harm?
Great. He gives you a look and then just kind of like looks at the cell around him in kind of a, come on, man.
Well, you were trespassing.
No, in the sense that, like, whose planet is this again? Kind of look.
Fair enough.
I just like the, it's like, have you done you and your people any harm? Well, you kind of plunked a city down in my backyard. All right, you know what? That one's on me.
Well, I don't know where these guys are from. Maybe they live on the other side of the fucking planet.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Come on, man. Complex geology and anthropology in Star Wars.
No, every planet is a single location.
Hey,
every planet is a mile and a half across.
Right.
But yeah, no, he says that he says, if it would please the Great Fire, I would attune my resonance. This is all completely monotone, by the way. It sounds like it's being played from a speaker.
Right.
But you can't see his lips moving. It is coming from him.
Yeah.
But it is totally emotionless, as he says that if it would please the Great Fire, I would attune my resonance to that of, say,
You cut out. What emotion did he attune?
I'm trying to see what he's feeling in this moment. He attunes his resonance to that of direct urgency, but then would shift his resonance towards that of fear. As he says that it is not what he has done to my people. And he says that the false spark, he says that it is the duty of his people to hold the false spark.
So your people are in control of the false spark and he took it from you.
Do you have like a non-metaphorical... No, what am I saying? No, of course you don't.
If it were only so easy.
They never do. They never have anything on them.
Is this a physical object that was taken? We'll have to follow up with the.
If it would please the Great Fire, I attune my resonance to that of confusion
Yeah,
and of doubt.
I didn't think you were gonna get
As I say, yes. The spark is one that can be carried. And he looks at you with honestly the first hint of like a what? Kind of squinting eyes. He says that it is a thing that can be carried. And he says that you both carry the spark with you now.
I understand.
What the fuck is he talking about?
So it's a thing that we can carry with our hands.
I mean,
that we're both physically carrying on us, like right now.
I assume that's what he meant. I don't really carry much at all.
Cole, can I confer with you in private for a second?
Sure. I kind of look at the man and say, "Give us a moment," and we step aside.
I attune to the resonance of disillusion. Or if it would please the Great Fire, I attune my resonance to that of disillusion.
Okay.
I have very few other places to be. And he sits back down on the floor.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Congratulations. You've discovered aliens. You've somehow met an emotionless race that still has sarcasm.
I think I might have cracked this.
What do you got?
I'm kind of looking around. There's nobody around to hear me say any of this, right?
No, we're alone, I think.
You are in a very much man-made facility, so it's, it's up to an investigation check whether there's like a security system that there probably is because you're in a jail.
Yeah, what would we have to get on an investigation check?
Yeah, it's a 1. You see like a little security droid bolted to the ceiling that's like a rotating camera. You can assume that if you're too loud, it'll probably pick up on what you're saying, but there's no one physically around at the moment except for the sheriff's deputy that is at the end of like a 20-foot long hallway.
Okay, you can, like, whisper.
If you make me a stealth roll and get a 0, it's unlikely that anyone will hear you.
I got a 0.
Nice.
Do you want to succeed? You know what? Yeah, no, fuck it. You just succeed. It's a 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than the obvious, the one thing that we both have in common, that crystal at the end of your staff.
Yes.
Does it happen to be just looking around to make sure nobody's hearing me? Kyber?
Well, the staff was given to me by my master, and I was told that the crystal is in tune with the Force, so I assume so, if that's what the Jedi call them.
Yeah.
Chance your master, even if the term Kyber crystal wasn't used in like an academic sense, it's one of the terms you would have been taught along with things like lightsaber or Jedi.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I
will say, Daniel, you have never even heard of. Like you just wrote it off at first because you've never even heard of a Jedi just attaching a Kyber crystal to a stick.
Right.
Yeah, but it's clicking now that he's describing us as Force sensitive, and I noticed the crystal was weird, but I didn't.
But I'm just telling you, like it's a
for me.
Yes.
I kind of looked at it at first and went, "Huh, cool rock," but then I'm like, "Wait a minute, something to do that both of us just have on us that you can hold in your hand." And what's worse, the idea of a false spark, and what I would know about, actively having to study Sith once we found out that they were back.
Wait, what?
He referenced a false spark. I have Again, kind of looking around, making sure nobody can see me. I do have my lightsaber on me, and he might be able to sense the force through that. And him saying false spark is concerning. There are Sith legends. We had to study that back at the place that the college. I went to college.
Right.
The Sith legends of corrupting kyber crystals, bleeding them to turn them red.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of that too. It's an extremely rare thing, but under certain conditions, it's possible. I've never seen it, but
I've never seen it happen either. But when you go to the academy, to the school that I went to,
the
Well,
temple.
Actually, Daniel, so you've never seen it happen in the sense that you never watched a Force user bleed a crystal. You do think back to watching the various like hollow scans sent from either General Kenobi or clones cut down by the Sith Lord that murdered Master Qui-Gon Jinn. You think about the countless innocent lives in the war lost at the hands of Count Dooku,
yeah,
which is a black stain on the Jedi. You are intimately familiar with the sight of a crimson blade.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it before, but I've heard of it.
Whereas I don't think that there are any of them among this population, as far as I'm aware.
Well, it seems this individual thinks so.
Now,
Practitioners of that religion.
Now, we're going to pause on that real quick as you see the lights in this room turn red. And you hear an alarm going off and some kind of commotion outside.
Dang it.
I like grasp my stick in more of a combat ready kind of stance. We should get out of here.
Now we're gonna move over real quick as you're both in this incredibly tense, like, oh no, like a lot of shit has just hit the fan.
Yes.
Mira Lunar and Pitter Patter.
Yes.
Mira, you are currently watching as your new friend and compatriot. Let me look up his name real quick. Kanor Seajack. You watch as the tranquilizers he's been given for his recent overdose overtake him as you see the fight go out of him as he just, I don't want to take the damn lollipop. I don't want to take a lollipop. As the lollipop is shoved into his mouth, and Doc Smiley wraps him up with his many pneumatic mechanical arms into a full, like, grown man-sized swaddled baby, and deposits him on the floor in front of you. Now then, that's being a good little buckaroo. And he's like, now there, little girl, you go ahead and make sure that your little friend here gets home safely, okay? We wouldn't want him out past his bedtime.
Right? I'll make sure to do that, Dr. Smiley.
David, for the record, this is the town doctor that was mentioned before. Insert assortment of letters and numbers here. Pediatric medical droid that appears to be in somewhat disrepair, but is nonetheless functioning as the town's doctor, as it operates the sole clinic in town, an incredibly competent medical professional that is, nonetheless, due to a quirk of its programming, stuck on the pediatric setting.
Sounds fun.
Really? That being said, there is a human doctor that operates this place, Doc Smiley, when questioned about it, just said that, well, he's like, oh, well, I work for the doc. You know, he purchased me and brought me here, and he operates the clinic, but he doesn't like to see patients no more. But he doesn't like to see patients no more. As Pitter Patter in wanting to question whether or not they can have the access code to be allowed to service Doc Smiley's malfunctioning parts, picked the lock on his office door and invited themselves in.
Yeah. He wouldn't open the door and he wouldn't say yes. So I decided the next course of action was annoying him until he said yes.
Fair
And
enough.
as far as this person in this room is concerned, this door was unlocked because all I had to do was turn the knob very slowly.
It was turn the knob very slowly.
There's no knob. It's Star Wars.
No, it was
It's a very old door.
no. I basically said that like you looking at this lock, the DC was like 4. You got a 7. To you, it would be like the equivalent of turning a knob to open it, to basically pull the front cover off of the pad, splice 2 wires together, and open the door. Like it was barely an inconvenience to enter. Knowing that, would that have changed whether or not you went in here if you know that it is technically breaking and entering? Or
That
is
does
Pitter's
change how I picture this happening, but no.
I was gonna say, or is Pitter's interpretation of this, if you didn't want me to come in here, you should have bought better locks?
Probably.
And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I mean legitimately in a, would you like me to build you a better lock so I can't break in next time?
I mean, potentially. We can get to that after we finish talking.
No, I meant
Yeah.
in a very real sense of like that's just your outlook. Is like, yeah, get it. Like the strength of the lock is directly proportional to how badly you don't want someone to go in.
Yeah. This is very much like me walking in. As far as I'm concerned, it was unlocked.
Great. As you open the door, darkened office, you see maybe like a desk lamp on, right? Yeah. You see a desk lamp on, a man sitting behind it, kind of spins around to see that the door's open and stands up out of his chair. Again, relatively tall, maybe around 6 foot. Clearly a bit older. You know, maybe he's pushing into his late 40s or sort of cresting into his early 50s, but still like on the shallow end of middle age. As you see, he like stands up and turns around. Oh, also like olive to tan skin, and just, what the hell? I thought I locked that damn door. And it's like, whoever you are, get that. It's like, just give your credits to the damn clanker and get the hell out of here.
That's not what this is about. So I casually continue walking into the room as I continue explaining why I'm here. So Doc Smiley's broken at least a few parts, and I want to fix that. So can I fix that? The answer you're looking for is yes.
The hell are you talking about?
I hold up what is left of my lollipop, which is maybe like half of it, and point at it, and that it has no color and no flavor, and is supposed to. And I can fix that, and I want to fix that, but Doc Smiley says I can't without permission. So I need your permission to fix it. And I put the lollipop in my mouth.
Look, kid, I don't know who you are, or what the hell you think. He goes, I don't know who the hell you are, or what the hell you're getting at. And he goes, but the droid is working. And he goes, but in case you haven't noticed, there ain't exactly all kids banging about this town. So I couldn't really give I couldn't really give a womp rat's ass as to whether or not the damn lollipop function is working or not. So unless
But I care, and I'm here. I would like better lollipops when I have to come here. I'm sure all the other people who get lollipops would also think the same, because there's at least one other person out there that I know thinks the same right now. So I shake the lollipop, which is another quarter of it is gone now.
Just shakes it like a
Mm.
Roll me rapport.
Okay.
Roll me rapport. It's gonna be a 4. -2. Do you wanna try and use a reroll on this? You can. If you can justify it with an aspect, you can reroll it.
I think.
If you give me like a bit of techno babble to basically explain why you being allowed to service Doc Smiley is in this man's best interest from no, it is beneficial to you that this happen.
Mhm.
You can use your like experienced mechanic aspect.
Okay. So basically start a rant on how I can fix the whole lollipop mechanism thing. But I also mention like the speech modulator and like how jerky he gets and how that could potentially be like a health and safety hazard for when he has to do delicate work. And I go through like a long list of all the things that I very carefully noted mentally that are wrong with him that I could fix totally for free.
Give me a reroll. I will say, as for comedic effect, from the outside, and spend a fate point, please. From the outside, as you're like, yeah, he's a very good doctor, but he's kind of on the fritz a little bit. Mira, Doc Smiley looms down to look at you and just says, "My dear," and he's like, "Little cowgirl, don't take this too harshly. And I don't mean to scare you now, but I think you may be missing a few of your limbs."
What?
And he says, "It looks like someone's cut off the. Peter, you have 6 arms, correct?"
Yeah, 6 arms, 2 legs.
Great. It says, "It looks like you might have lost 4 of your arms."
I'm pretty sure I have only ever had 2.
Great. You see his face blue screen for a second. A spark like a firework shoots out of the side of his head. And he clicks back online, asks what we were talking about, and asks if you would like a lull, and asks if you need a checkup.
No, I don't need a checkup, but I'd like another lollipop.
He dispenses another flavorless, colorless piece of sucrose.
Cool. Eating it.
As his flavor unit is completely broken. I will say, being basically a refugee and homeless child, it's like the closest thing to candy you've had in some time, as it is sweet-ish. It's about as sweet as unflavored gelatin, but it's sugar.
It's got sugar in it, and I am a teenager.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm like, it's you know what, beggars cannot be choosers. Go ahead and re-roll.
Okay. How do I spend the fate point?
Just you have 3 for this session, unless you can earn them back somehow. Please go ahead and mark one off.
On your main
Okay.
tab, under bottom right hand corner, fate points, current, you can scroll down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yes.
Mine didn't previously have a number there, so.
Yes, well, you have 3.
Those 3 boxes should say 3, 3, and 4. So 3
Okay.
current, 3 refresh, and 4 skill cap.
Thanks. Okay, cool. So I'll do that, and then.
Oh, sorry. You okay?
Well, better than before, but not what I needed.
Yeah, all of chat knows my hidden shame is that I love my mom.
Can't relate.
What's up?
Hey, I can relate.
Oh,
I love
man.
you. Great.
I'm gonna tell mom you said that.
Well, she didn't come to my house for Thanksgiving, so.
Damn, roasted. Anyway, so you got a 1, Kayla?
Yeah.
Great. Is this worth what do you call it? You cannot use what do you call it? You cannot use the same aspect more than once on a single roll. You can, however, use multiple aspects to augment a situation if you would like. So if this is really important to you, you can absolutely like try to push this further with more of your aspects. It'll just require spending more fate points.
I don't know if I want to use the fate points because I am now coming up with the possible option of breaking in the middle of the night and like basically performing a heist in order to upgrade this robot if this man does not give me permission. So,
Okay. He says, okay, he just says, he takes a very deep sigh, right?
Mhm.
He says, kid, and he says, if you want, you know what? He looks like he really wants to snap, but he assumes you're a little kid,
Mhm.
which has gotten you out of a few scrapes.
Yeah, that's why I don't correct him.
Great.
I used to correct people. I stopped doing that.
He reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a couple of credits, right?
Mhm.
He hands them back to you and says, consider your friend's medical fare is on the house. This time, head down the street to the store and get you and your friend some candy. If it'll get you to leave me the hell alone.
I look very confusedly at the handful of money I have, which is, considering the size of my hands, maybe at least 2 handfuls. And then I look at him confused. I'm just like, but it would be a lot easier to achieve that if you just let me fix the robot. I look back and forth between him and the money.
Leave. Now.
I pout and like slowly turn into the door.
I will say, for whatever it's worth, you do note that the hand that is extending the credits to you, has a large black glove on it, and as he extends it, you faintly hear a noise.
Immediately lock onto that. Just like the consideration of like more mechanical parts. Does it sound at all like it is malfunctioning in any way?
Not if it is, it's not to the point where it's making like a noise of it.
Okay.
But yeah, he seems very like you've learned enough subtext to think that although he's hiding it well, he's probably getting a little annoyed. He's being very subtle. He's being very subtle with his like angrily glaring at you and ordering you to leave.
Yeah, and paying me.
He's literally trying to bribe you to go. But yeah, as you leave, the door, you are not even fully out the door before it breaks the sound barrier, slamming shut, and you see like you hear the lock click back on. For whatever that's worth, it's more of a punctuation at this point for you. And Doc Smiley just sort of perks up and goes, "Oh, would you look at that? Well, sorry. Looks like clinic's closing up early today. Doc must have something important needs my help with."
I consider for a second lying to the robot and telling him I have permission. Then I remember I'm not very good at that, so I think I'm not going to.
Yeah. As you, from outside, you just hear a as some sort of alarm is sounding. Oh dear. That does not sound good. You better, and he's like, you two better get on out of here. Get back to your homes and say, hunker down for safety. We wouldn't want you to get a boo-boo now, would you?
I mean, that means we get to come see you again, but no.
He says, why don't you go ahead and just leave your other little friend here? poor little thing is all tuckered out, and he kind of like raises like a pneumatic claw and pats Kanor on the head. I remind you, a grizzled, kind of out of shape old man, currently drooling in a fentanyl-induced coma, or a ketamine-induced coma, drooling onto his own chest. As he sort of pats him on the head and ruffles his hair a little bit and says, "Why don't you leave me here to sleep things off? The doc he's like, the doc always makes it so if there's an emergency, this place gets locked down tight. He's like, locked down tighter than the toy chest after bedtime."
I look up at Mira.
Okay, I guess we should probably go find everybody.
Okay. I do, before we leave, or as we're leaving the front door, I hold up my 2 palmfuls of credits and just be like, so I got money to get better candy.
Ooh, yay.
We can go do that. I mean, I know there's an alarm going off, but that probably doesn't involve us.
Candy or finding our friends.
I mean, we could find our friends with candy, and then if there's lucky, there might be enough for them to have some too.
Yeah. Let's go.
Scuttle off to that store
Wow.
the dude mentioned to get candy.
I mean, I will tell you, by that point as you get out, most of like the actual buildings in town are starting to like slam shutters down, and kind of feels like something bad is about to happen, and everyone is like hunkering down, preparing for the worst. There's not a lot of stores that are going to be like actively letting in customers to continue business.
As I see the shutters for the candy store go down, the light leaves my eyes.
Oh, we might have to come back tomorrow.
Great. I will tell you, Mira.
Yes.
You see the shutters go down. The metal clang of blast doors closing, combined with the red light and the sound of people like worryingly ushering around, of that sound of, I don't know what's happening, but I am scared and I'm looking to figure out how to make me and my family safe, right?
Yeah.
You look down at the ground, and instead of like the polished linoleum metal floor of this town, you see a smooth marble inlaid with gold, leading in a pathway down a long hallway, and you see the high archways of the Coruscant Temple above you. As you hear an alarm,
break out in a cold sweat.
There are alarms going off of the last time you were in a situation like this, as you feel your robes get like ruffled as your fellow younglings are brushed aside, as the Jedi Master in charge of you has ordered all of you to conglomerate in a central room while he goes to investigate what's going on.
I grab Pitter Patter's hand and I break out into a full panicked sprint.
Real quick, roll me a will check. Overcome adversity, difficulty 2. You grab your friend's hand and take like you steady yourself. This is not the first time one of these has happened.
Okay.
You're back. You're not wearing brown, rough fabric robes. You're not holding a lightsaber at your waist. This isn't the Jedi Temple. This isn't Coruscant. He's not coming. As you grab their hand and begin to run.
I am trying to sense where Char is.
Great. By this point, it seems like Char and Cole, are you hunkering down in the police station, or were you making your way into town?
No, I'm coming outside.
Yeah, we want to go see what's going on.
Great. Kazron. Same note, you've been hiding out. The sun has broken by this point. It's right as you've sort of gotten the feeling of like, okay, I've made my way downstairs. Past a certain point, they are gonna kind of kick you out because it's become number one. Also, I think you'd get moving because it's more suspicious if you're there over a certain amount of time. But coast is dead clear. People have some ideas about what went on last night, but it's not like nobody can pinpoint what's going on. And from just the general chatter around town, it seems like what actually happened is so far down the list of possible ideas, it's not worth mentioning. Without without raising any alarms. So the alarm has been raised.
Mhm.
And you hear that happening as you, like I said, do you want to make your way out into the town proper to see what's going on, or are you also like looking for a place to hunker down? I will tell you, you did not secure permanent residence last night like everyone else did. You're gonna need to talk your way in or break in if you want to convince somebody to let you hide in there. Things are locking down very fast. Like I said, even the inn is pretty much like all aboard who's going aboard. In like 3 minutes, this blast door is closing and not opening until the alarm stops.
I mean, at this point, there's something going on. I want to know what the hell's going on. I ain't hunkering down.
I mean, it could be related to the mysterious stranger from last night.
Right, like, I have gotten my sleep. I have, I've been fed and watered, and I'm ready to try to figure out what's going on.
So I'll say all of you meet up in more or less the town square as... Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to, on the way out of the sheriff's the prison.
Yes.
I wanted to like run past into the reception area and ask the deputy like what's going on, what's with the sirens.
Great. You see, he at the front desk is. He's like, good. Oh y'all, is it? Oh y'all made it up here. As I said before, big, heavy pair of opaque black welding goggles on his face. A lot of species have them for various reasons of native habitats. Some people from just different, even humans from different planets, have them for comfort reasons.
Mm-hmm.
He is loading up what it looks to you to be a large, like, blaster shot, like a scatter gun.
Ooh.
As he loads it up and he goes, as he tells the two of you that you'd be better off, he tells you that that's the alarm for outriders. And he said, he tells you you've got two choices at this point. Either, if you want to hurry out of here, then you can try and make your way back to whatever like place you've been living, or he can lock you in a cell for your own safety.
We'll take our chances. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we meet up in the town square then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is. You spare a final look back as you see the man in the cell, still like leaning out as much as possible. As he looks out at you, and as you go down the hallway, you can hear him just, or you see him just. He just sort of gives you like a very focused look.
I give him a intense nod as I duck out the door.
Mm-hmm. Great. It's all of you meet up outside, sun blaring overhead. Yeah, the sun absolutely blaring overhead as I said, people are locking down. Doom, 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 doom. And you hear the alarm coming from the outside or from the edge of town.
Mm-hmm. Are you all right?
Yeah, by now I've probably like climbed up to Mira's shoulder because her having to bend down to hold my hand to run is just slowing us down. So I'm just gonna climb onto her and basically
I will remind you, your robot is still operational, but it will have an aspect that, depending on how the narrative goes, may or may not come into play. It might function perfectly with no more than a cinematic, like small spark to the side. It may completely shut down, but it is at this moment in time operational.
Okay. Well, I'll have it follow for now. No point in leaving it behind. It does need expensive repairs. So if it gets more broken, it's just going to be more expensive repairs. It's all the same to me. Gotta fix it anyway.
It is just skittling behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you've all met up in the center of town now, you riding on Mira's shoulder, lollipops in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you exiting a prison. Kazron, who vanished last night, with not a trace of him, suddenly just reappearing, smelling vaguely of cocoa butter.
Yep.
What do y'all? I'll say from a distance behind you, you just hear, "Oh hell!" And like yells back out at you, or you hear a voice like yelling down the street to all of you. They're like, "All of you!" And it's like, hunker down and get to cover now.
Who is yelling?
You see, it is Sheriff Herond, the man who thanked you for your service at the beginning of the morning for dealing with the Glanta gang who had kidnapped the young girl Hay, as he was busy dealing with a disturbance at the governor's mansion.
Right, and
you see he. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Where's he at?
He appears to be coming from basically somewhere at the end of the street. Like looking as though he was off doing something and has rushed outside frantically, like strapping a gun belt around his waist. And you see he is carrying a larger blaster.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, as he runs up to you and he goes, "Oh, you, the hell," and he goes, "What the hell are you doing out here? Get to cover now. This doesn't concern you."
I mean, I think it's kind of concerning. There's like lights and sirens and
He goes,
stuff.
We're deeply concerned.
he goes, "You're civilians, townfolk. That means that," he goes, "that means that if there's something," he goes, "you handled yourselves well out there last night in the posse. But this," he goes, "but I can't be worried about having a guard," he goes, "guard some random people what want to go off half-cocked." As he goes, "Hunker down and get inside the," and he points over at the inn as the wham, and you see a temporarily closed for business will reopen at the passing of imminent threat sign pop up in the window.
I have no abode here. I am not a townsfolk. I'm passing through.
Great, just great. All right. And he just keep your head down, and he goes, "Just keep your head down and don't go shooting at anything. What ain't shooting at you first?"
I have no blaster.
Okay.
I'm also unarmed, yes.
Right. He nods. He
You guys
says,
don't have blasters?
What do I need a blaster for?
I'm like looking at you two like, you guys
it's-
don't have blasters?
Uncivilized.
great. He says, enough people on this planet, enough people in this galaxy, I suppose I had to have met two eventually. Because as long as no one does anything stupid, they all get. He goes, as long as he looks at the two of you as the younger ones, and he kneels down to like get on level. He goes, take it from me, kid. This ain't my first rodeo dealing with this. As long as nobody does anything stupid, we're gonna get. He goes, everyone's gonna make it out of this with the same bits attached to them what they started the day with. As you hear the telltale, what's that?
I do like all of my bits.
Yeah, he says that if he has anything to say about it, no one's having to pay a visit to the dock today. And you hear the telltale sound of like when a megaphone or like a microphone is turning on. You know that like high pitched electronic leading into like static noise. Attention, outriders! You are officially encroaching on territory that has been occupied and under the protection of His Imperial Majesty's Galactic Enforcement Military Service. And you see, this is right after he said, as long as no one says anything stupid, and he kind of hangs his head in the distinctly like, we're fucked kind of way. As you... Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, nobody said anything.
Okay,
Nothing.
sorry. There's occasionally a small delay on my end that makes it sound like someone's talking. As you hear the sound of plasteel on artificial terrain, as you see several stormtroopers march around a corner headed from somewhere deeper in town. And you see it is an Imperial Walker, but it is a single troop transport one. It's maybe picture like the size of a big-ish car, but on legs. As you see the officer that is riding inside of it, just once again, you are encroaching officially on territory that has been designated as under the protection of His Imperial Majesty's, His Imperial Majesty's martial protection. You will retreat from this current position, or else surrender yourselves to Imperial justice immediately, or you will be eliminated swiftly by. And then you see a blaster shot hit the walker as it starts spinning.
You know what? I respect that.
I was thinking an ATRT specifically, but
Oh,
Pretty sure everybody respected that just now. But yeah.
Great. The stormtroopers start blasting immediately as you see. You can't really make out who it is, but blaster fire comes returned, and because it is directed inward towards town, you see like a light post immediately get showered in sparks and blasted to bits. It seems like the sheriff was kind of intent on talking this one down, and it's now already fully devolved into a firefight.
so who are the combatants? Like, do we see the Outriders? Like, where are they at?
You look, great. You see several, like, speeder bike looking things and, like, larger hover transports, bearing a flag on them. You can't really recognize, like, what it is, but some sort of symbol. You can infer without doing a deeper roll for specifics. This is one of the either, gangs or local warlords, that currently hold most of the actual power on this planet in the vacuum between the Separatists leaving, the Republic falling, and the Empire rising.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the gang you fought last night was one of a babillion of them.
Okay.
As they are getting closer and closer to town. These stormtroopers are pretty much falling back as their strategy of stand in a straight line and shoot is uncharacteristically not working great.
Okay, so the stormtroopers are being pushed back.
The stormtroopers are being stormtroopers.
Gotcha.
So
How
really
many of them are
stupid.
there? Like a squad?
What's up?
How many stormtroopers are there? Like one squad or
Remind me in civilian speak, what does a squad equal?
I don't know, like 10?
About maybe a squad and a half.
Okay.
Not a huge detachment. The Empire doesn't have a whole lot of power here to like move massive amounts of troops. But they are like trying to secure a line. It's just that as the bad guys are just firing wildly past them into town, the shots are just going off. You see one of the blast doors just take a hit, and a shower of sparks of molten metal as one of the cannons blasts into it. It's not a great time when the enemy is now just firing inward to the main street of town.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight against the stormtroopers or the other guys at the moment. I'm gonna wait until one of them does something to us.
Yeah?
I mean, that's what the sheriff instructed us. If you're not shooting at us, we shouldn't shoot back.
Great. You hear the Imperials like calling out orders as you see them. You see all the stormtroopers at once fall back and begin retreating to a different area of the town.
Good, fuck him.
You see the Outriders who are in, like on their speeders and everything. You see several of them careen like into the main street as they jump off. They're all wearing some variant of either a cloak or a poncho that has the same symbol painted on the back. Yeah, like painted on the back, as several of them have detached from the main group and set off to some other goal. There's now a few of them that are just going up to like various stores or businesses or places of residence. You see one of them takes out what is the equivalent of a buzzsaw and starts trying to hack through the blast doors.
Okay, well, I think we need to intervene here.
What's up?
I think we need to intervene here.
Yeah.
Great. We're gonna begin combat as I'm gonna pull up a map.
All right.
Let's see. Assets. I said set.
My God.
Fucking dork.
This will work. This will work for now as like a basic battle map. I didn't have time to find like a specific like town map one, but I think this will get the point across.
All right.
For this encounter. Let's see. How do I fucking do this? No. Sharing is caring. Do you all have that?
Yes.
Battle map.
I see you, battle map.
Battle
Yes.
Map 2, the sequel to Battle Map?
How do I put you guys on the battle map?
No, it's Battle Map 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
No, well, that was Battle Map 2 Electric Boogaloo was the remake. You know, I think it's better personally. You know, the special effects are like way nicer, but purists will like get on your ass for that shit.
So I see it, although it's not giving me the option to make it like a
know.
full screen
Yeah,
thingy.
I've got an image. I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell this is. It's an
Mhm.
asset, but it's not
See.
an image or map file.
How do I do that?
I don't know what you did to it.
Let's see. Okay, you know what? For now, lacking an image, I think we're gonna try and theater of the mind this, and we'll just keep track of movement, and like the zones are not gonna be too important here. You're pretty much fighting in like an open town square. So we'll just keep track of like the aspects from the environment.
Okay, what is the environmental aspects?
Environmental aspects. At the moment, all the doors have blast shields on them. So I don't know a clever way to phrase that, but you're basically in an armored, like an armored corridor, is what it is effectively. Let's see the other aspects of what this would be. I'll just keep it that for now. If there's anything else that like specifically comes up, or someone wants to declare something, that we can talk about that. For now, that's what you're dealing with. You're just basically an armored corridor of the town square. There are spaces in between buildings if you want to like duck into an alleyway or like loop around the side of a building. It is an urban environment, so pretty much anything that comes naturally with what do you call it? That comes with being in an urban environment, you can assume is relatively standard for this. So, fire escapes, back alleys, dumpsters, things of that nature.
Okay. Do the bandits have any aspects on them?
Yes. Oh, there are several speeder bikes, or several speeders that are scattered around that they've basically parked and not abandoned, but left idle while they go about their raiding. So assume those count as part of the environment. They have the aspect well organized. You know what? They have the aspect well trained, poorly organized. They appear to what they are doing. They are doing in a way that says they've done it a lot, but they are not doing anything with a specific direction. So everything individually they are doing in a practice motion. They're just not working as a cohesive unit.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, you guys can start things off, and as usual, we're gonna do leapfrog initiative.
Okay.
Also, there are at the moment 6 of these bad guys. So I'm just gonna alter the combat tracker real quick while you decide amongst yourselves who is gonna be here.
Okay, which one of us wants to go first?
You said there were 6 guys?
I'm adding them to the combat tracker now, but yes, there are 6 dudes.
I do not wish to go first. I will say that much.
Same.
Well, mirror is kind of my current mode of transportation, so.
Do you want me to put you on your robot?
That's sure. That's fine.
Okay, so like as all of that is happening, I'm just like putting them in the robot.
So what exactly is happening right now? We're being shot at, or just the town just being destroyed?
At the moment, the town is being ransacked.
Yeah, like somebody is trying to get into the blast doors of one of these buildings.
That's more or less what a lot of these guys are doing. They'll have more nuance as they might start attacking you on the next round when they see you, at the moment, it seems like their purpose is come here and ransack the place. As this is a group they splinter group that broke off from the main group that detached to go further into some part of the town.
Uh-huh. And there's obviously a group still fighting the Empire.
Is the sheriff still here?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, do you? Yes, but I'm electing if you want to have him go first, because it feels kind of fucked up to have an NPC take the first initiative slot unless you want him to.
No, I'm gonna look at him because he told us not to do anything and go, are you gonna do something about that?
Is that you allowing him to take the first move?
That is me allowing him to take the
Yeah.
first move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. He is gonna pull his blaster and try and shoot this guy just straight up in the head.
All right.
Seeing that, I also want to ask him, are we allowed to do that now?
Now, I do think there's a part of you, right? Talking to, let's say, just everybody here sort of shares the sentiment that just sort of thinks like this is an authority figure in a local provincial town. This is the part where money where your mouth is, you run and fucking hide and just let them do whatever they want and fuck the little people and blah blah. He pops out from behind cover and just straight up tries to murder the bad guy, and I feel that's oddly refreshing.
A little bit.
Yeah, honestly, like the fact that he immediately did pop out and do something makes me go, okay.
As far as Pitter is concerned, this is a new collective job we are on. He is the one with the most experience. He knows what he is doing. So I'm following his lead.
Let's see here.
Pardon me.
Come on. Great. Yeah. Blaster bolt. Blam! Nails this guy in the back. The force throwing him up against the shields. He drops the saw he was holding. He's not dead, but he's cradling a very heavy looking burn mark on his arm as he's gonna growl and reach for a blaster. Which of you would like to go next? Because I don't really love the idea of him like electing one of you to go if you don't want to go.
Sure.
I would like to go. As long as he's still alive, I'd like to run and kick the gun away from him so that I could keep this guy, like, alive.
Okay, the gun's gonna be, like, on his belt, so are you trying to run up and disarm him?
Oh. You said he pulled the gun. What are you talking about?
Wait, the bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm... Okay, but it's not kick the gun away from him like it's on the ground, like... It's gonna be like he's gonna pull a gun like... He's holding a gun. Like, I'm saying, are you going to try and disarm?
He's on the ground, and I want to kick the gun out of his hand.
Oh, okay, yes. I understand. Yeah, so I'm going to say that's a fight. It's a post-fight check.
Nice.
Makes sense. Get him.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I only rolled 2 dice.
Roll like shit.
I did roll like shit. I have aspects to make that less shitty.
God damn it. He keeps dropping the fucking dice.
Ooh,
Ooh. Great. It's going to come down to an aspect battle. What aspect are you using to try and increase this?
I was trained as a Jedi Knight. I've been in fights before. Or not only have I been trained in fights, I've specifically been trained to fight non-lethally, so I want to disarm him non-lethally.
Are you gonna re-roll or +2?
All I need is a +2.
Yeah, that's
I think he's going to use one of his aspects to just re-roll completely.
Alright, so he's got to beat a 4.
Yeah.
Well, he got neutral, so
That's sure.
God damn it. The fucking physics engine is having a seizure.
It happens.
Well, he rolled worse. That means you succeeded with style. So you're doing
Yeah.
aspect
So
points.
what other I do think I said before that you can't use a fate point and have a roll count worse. It'll just count towards like the better of the two rolls.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's one of the same things of like using a spell slot in D&D to just have it not affect anything. It feels kind of shitty to expend a resource in hopes of a better outcome and potentially fuck yourself worse.
Well, that's what I've. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's also what the +2 version is for.
Yeah. Either way, I still beat it.
I was doing it to try and increase like fun factor. Do you like make a call? We can always change it later. Or how do you feel about that potentially being a thing? Of hey, you can use a fate point and fuck yourself.
I feel like as long as we're going for specifically fun factor, you can have it work differently for NPCs and player characters.
That is true.
Okay, so yeah, you're saying NPCs should be able to fuck themselves, or NPCs can't fuck themselves?
It's up to you, but like if you don't want us to like be able to roll worse and like eat shit for no reason, eat shit after spending a resource, because these guys aren't spending resources to be re-roll. Like they're just invoking an aspect.
No,
Like, they don't have fate points.
they do. They just can't get more of them.
Oh, okay.
If they have a set number of fate points. You can invoke flaws and earn more fate points throughout the course of a battle. They can't.
That is true. Okay.
Yeah. Either way, that's
These guys aren't mooks. Bear in mind, they actually have aspects.
All right.
Yeah, so
Or they have like hit points basically. But so I was saying, I'm gonna say for now, let's stick with the way I had it, where you can't like fuck yourself over because I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah. So
That's fine. So what aspect did this guy use?
he's well trained.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, he's been in melee fights before. Evidently not against. I mean, he's a part of like a local like tribal warlord faction that is used to encountering at best the local militia or sheriff's department of a given town, not a trained warrior who's been in like actual armed combat.
Right.
So what I do now that I've kicked the gun out of his hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that was your action. So we actually are going to switch to a new perspective.
Do I get to say any words?
Yeah. Oh, if it's just saying words, go ahead.
Yeah. I just kind of extend my hand down to him. You're outnumbered. You've been shot. You're on your back. I can get you to the doctor, and you can get out of here alive. Is that acceptable?
So we're gonna move over real quick. So it's gonna be a different one of his guys. I'm trying to figure out how to label these guys in the combat tracker. It's not letting me for some reason. Why can I not? I don't know why I can't name him.
You just click on the line in the combat tracker and you should be able to type in it.
I cannot.
That's very strange.
But yeah. Great. I'm gonna say it's one of the other ones is gonna notice this. You see him level a blaster, and he's gonna attempt to shoot Daniel in the back while he's distracted.
All right.
And I'm gonna say it's not gonna be an opposed. Yeah, it would still be opposed. So, I guess give me athletics or whatever skill you think you would use in this instance to like represent your instincts for combat.
4 cents. I
Okay.
can use his intent to shoot me from behind.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty good.
You succeeded with style. What do you want to happen? As you feel the gun leveled at your back and you feel the trigger being pulled.
Did he try and shoot me point blank?
No, this is just he was across the street, heard the gun being knocked out of his friend's hand, pulled a blaster and shot at you.
I'm going to fully, like, without looking at it, matrix dodge so it, like, flies away from me, still making eye contact with this guy. Just, I repeat, you're outmatched. I'm trying to get you to safety. Can you get your boys to stand down for, like, 2 seconds so that you can get out of the fight?
Great. We're gonna go back to you, Daniel. Who do you? Oh, sorry, Hound. So your benefit is what do you want to have a bonus to rapport against this guy?
Yeah, basically, I want to be able to get these guys to stand down.
Give yourself a +2 boost to rapport, or a +2 boost to either provoke or rapport. So the next time you want to do either basically an intimidation or diplomacy check, you'll do so with an optional bonus.
Cool.
For just your epic swag, which I did dab when I did that, so you know it's intense.
All right. Let me.
I hope your dad enjoys the fact that his character is right now being swaddled like a baby in the comforting pneumatic arms of Doc Smiley while just drooling over his opium-induced coma.
In the scene aspects?
I think it's how he would want to be spending the session.
What are you trying to place?
I'm gonna give myself the aspect on here instead of on my character sheet on a tab that I'm not gonna look at.
Okay. So who's going next?
Who wants to go next? Who has something they want to do here?
I will take a shot at the guy that shot at Shar.
All right, so Bitter will go next.
Okay.
Trying to figure this out.
As I pull 2 blasters out, I'm gonna try to take him out at the knee and also disarm him. We'll see if I am a good enough shot to do that.
So you're trying. Let me say this: you're taking a shot with a blaster. You're trying to like shoot him in the knee, or what are you trying to do with him?
2 things. So the guy that just shot at Shar, I
Yeah.
want to shoot him in the knee so he can't just go running around and doing stuff. And I would also like to try to shoot the blaster out of his hand so he is disarmed. I acknowledge that that would make it more difficult. That's fine.
That is gonna be. I'll say that's you can basically pick one, and if you succeed with style, you can get both pretty much.
Okay.
So pick
I'll prioritize.
either one is an opposed fight roll.
Okay, not shoot, it'd be fight. Okay.
Oh well, sorry, opposed shoot. Yes.
Okay.
Well, he would be rolling like
Athletics or
athletics or
something,
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes. I meant you're gonna roll shoot. He's gonna oppose it with some skill.
Okay. So I'm gonna prioritize the disarming him thing.
Are you just as a note? Any of the blasters in this universe come standard with a stun option. Are you shooting with the stun option, or are you just aiming to kill?
Did the sheriff shoot with the stun option?
No, he did not.
I'm following his example. He's the leader in this. I'm not
Alrighty.
stun.
Great. So you said you're going to prioritize disarming.
Yes.
Alrighty. So he's going to use. I think he's going to use physique actually.
Okay. Ready for me to roll?
Yes.
I
greatly despise. So wait, was that the? That was the one you rolled?
Yes.
Great. Do you want to use an aspect to try to augment that roll?
I can't really think of anything specifically that I currently know of that would help in this particular situation.
Do you want to try and invoke one of the aspects of the environment?
Um,
I'm just giving you options of like things you can think about.
yeah. I mean, I was looking at the ones that are listed for the environment, and like, I don't think those would necessarily help me trying to shoot to disarm him currently.
I mean, you
Okay.
can invoke poorly organized to be like that he's not behind cover or anything and focused on somebody else.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I will try that one.
Great. Do you want to add a +2 or a complete reroll?
I'll add the +2.
Is that what tie?
So a tie, so you can succeed at a minor cost.
That's fine.
Okay, what's a good minor cost here?
He's disarmed, but now the other bandits like are more trained on bitter batter.
Yeah, I like that. So wham! It gets the gun goes flying out of his hand as your blaster impacts with it. Let's see. You know what? We are going to. We're gonna cut to the next one of them in turn. I think they're just gonna rush you, and they're gonna attempt to use the like power saw thing they were trying to cut through the buildings with to just straight up chop you and your robot in half.
I look at that with sparkling eyes and consider adding that to my robot.
So it's gonna, of course you do. So it's gonna be a fight roll, opposed.
Ooh.
Unexpected.
This one is gonna use their +2 to bring that to a, well, to a +2. Do you want to try and defend or just take it?
Um,
One stress box.
You would take a stress box.
what happens when all your stress boxes are filled?
You start taking consequences.
Yeah.
And I get the stress box if I don't defend?
You would get the stress box if you don't defend, but you can also deflect it onto your robot. And
Well, defending in this instance means like spending another fate point to try and like.
yes, to try and basically outspend him.
Yeah, I'll do that because I would like to not be cut in half. Thank you.
Well, keep in mind, so it's not gonna like cut you in half. The consequences, you'd start off getting like a mild consequence. It just depends on. So remember, they are basically a shield to absorb the difference between your rolls.
And you wouldn't take the consequences right away. So like in this instance, if he's slashing at you with a buzzsaw, it would like shear against the robot as you dodge out of the way, and like the robot would take some superficial damage that like will your stress box is like refresh at the end of an encounter basically.
Correct. They are not hit points in the traditional sense. They are your ability to like dodge out of the way of or otherwise avoid getting hurt. Your stress boxes are actually getting hurt.
You mean the consequences?
Or your consequences are actually getting hurt, and they range from something that can be shooken off in an hour to losing a limb.
Right.
Okay. And to make sure I'm looking at the right place. So the stress boxes are the ones there's like physical and mental, and then they have a number of boxes.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so I still had one checked off from last time. So that since this is a new scene,
yes, you can get rid of that, and you would only have to absorb one of those.
Okay.
Which the stress boxes are not. They're weird. They're not like each stress box is one. There's so however many boxes you have is your number 1, number 2, number 3 box.
Mhm.
So you can tick off one box per attack. So if this guy beat you by 2 or by 3, you would have to mark off your 2 or 3 stress box. If you don't have a box that you could check off, it immediately rolls over into consequences.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it also means that you can lose your number 3 stress box and keep your number 2 and your number 1 if you're able to slough the damage off.
Right. Or in this case, you could tick the number 1 stress box and you still have your 2 and possibly 3 or however many you have.
Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna not try to defend, I guess, and let this happen. And I guess for Pitter, worst case scenario, I have to go see Doc Smiley again, and I can maybe finally convince that guy to let me fix Doc Smiley, or convince Doc Smiley that I have permission. So this is fine.
Mm-hmm. So
Best
you're
case
just gonna
scenario.
you're gonna accept the thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, wonderful.
Cool. So you take one. You mark off your number 1 stress box.
Okay.
How many physical do you have?
2.
Okay. So yeah, if you get hit again for 1 or 2, then you can mark off the 2. If you get hit for more than 2, then you'd have to take a mild consequence.
Okay.
Yes. And a mild consequence literally could be something like one of them bonks you in the head and you get a little dizzy, and after the battle you have to sit down with like an ice pack.
Right. Mild consequences are basically like a little worse than a stress box. Where a stress box clears immediately after a combat, the mild consequence is like you got a boo boo and it may persist a little while after the fight, but
It may
probably
persist
go
for
away
like
by the end of the encounter or the end of the session or so.
it may persist for like a couple hours, and then moderate is like a couple days, and then severe is kind of what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Like this will severely impact you for a while, and then after you run out of all those, you take an extra permanent flaw, which is like losing a limb and having to adjust to using a prosthetic.
Yeah.
That's actually be pretty cool for Pitter. Okay.
Listen, Pitter doesn't. I like to think that Pitter doesn't really view their extra limbs as permanent parts of their body so much as like the absolute best case scenario is that I keep all my limbs. The worst case scenario is I get cooler, better limbs.
Yes.
So these are just like the platform on which to build cool shit. So like I see this as an absolute win.
Yeah.
Like,
I can upgrade myself if I lose my own parts.
Yep. In this universe, prosthetics are like robot prosthetics are a almost ubiquitous technology.
Yeah, you can even get them like that to it.
God damn it. Can't get fucking prosthetics on Tatooine. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like just an entire robot torso. What's up?
Entirely new abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Provided by DJ Thundercat.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. I need to use the restroom. I will be right back. And then, honestly, we can deliberate because David has to stop at, or Kazron has to stop at 11. It is 10:48.
Yeah.
So
it's probably a good spot to stop here and look combat.
Yeah.
And we can also have C-Jack next time triumphantly burst in to help save the day.
Indeed.
And I can also
a record of who's already gone in this combat.
Me and Kazron are the only ones who haven't.
I have not also.
Oh, you haven't? I thought you would.
So half of
I'm gonna make a note of it.
Two of you have gone. Pitter and Char are the only two that have taken their turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a note of where the battle stands, and I'm also gonna actually make the battle map for this, so that when we come back next time, we'll have like a set thing.
Right. Also, yeah, exactly. So also, Luke,
Yeah.
pick up 4 of the dice and drop them into your fucking hotbar, so you can just click a button to roll the dice instead of having to fuck with the right clicking over and over again.
Forgot I could do that.
Yeah, you could just use the scroll
I didn't know I
wheel.
could do that with dice.
Yep, you could do that with any combination of dice. Use the scroll wheel to affect the modifier, and then click the button or press the F key, and it will roll it for you.
Well then. But yeah, so.
Alright, next time we'll finish fighting against these stupid fucking bandits.
Next time on Tiger Ball Z.
And probably
wrong game. Star
Yep.
Wars Ball Z.
and probably have to deal with the Empire. They're gonna be asking some fucking questions, I'm sure. Every time you get involved, they always try to fuck with you.
And with that, I'm gonna end the stream.